Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet, and we'd like to welcome you to today's show, where John is going to tell us more about it.
The Lionsgate portal is upon us, a precise alignment between the Earth, the Sun, Sirius, and Orion's belt. This is regarded as a doorway to higher spiritual dimensions. We explore the history and the implications of this through the wisdom of Sadhguru and our friends at Twisted Reality. This then provides the perfect foundations as we move into the planetary transition from the third to the fifth dimension that is currently underway. We ask, what happens if we have unresolved karma? Will it hold us back? Well, we have a wonderful angelic source who explains everything in the most relatable kind of way. This then enables us to take ownership of our own personal outcome. And this is particularly important as outstanding karma can often be ancestral in nature and may manifest itself as disease and illness in this lifetime, particularly as we get closer to the dimensional transition. Getting a perspective around how to handle this is very important, as the traditional Western ways can create significant disharmony and only add to the issue. Finally, we explore the journey from the third dimensional reality of separation and illusion into the expanded and enlightened state of the fifth dimension. All revealed wisdom is then encapsulated into another wonderful Jolé Gabrielle guided meditation to help us embody these messages. You know, every week that goes by, I learn so much more. This is my journey and Jolé's journey, and I love tapping into Jolé's wisdom because I've learned so much from her over the last would it be now 6 years, 6+ years. But it's kind of these shows, everything unfolds itself to kind of like for me to learn, to share, and then it's great because I know that the community that we have around us at Elevated Planet are on a very similar journey. And it kind of struck me when we were going through the recording for what we have today, because there's something that gets mentioned by Alariel, and I thought, yeah, that's our community. This is, and I'll go there when the time is right for that. But one of the things, I suppose, one of the things to let's just go through the early notices, okay? Elevated Planet is a donation-based channel. So if you like what we do, if you value what we do, and you can afford it, if there's any donations that you can spare, we have a PayPal link in the description below. The cost of a cup of coffee or something like that would be fantastic. But yeah, it's just our way of keeping the lights on as we do accumulate costs along the way with this. And also, please like, share, and subscribe if you like what we do. The We don't measure very high on the YouTube algorithm at this point, which is not complaining in any way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, we also know that our message is not a mainstream message these days. But we do, I know that our community tend to have people around them who do also gravitate to this kind of content. So please do share where you think it would be valued, and that would be fantastic. Wanted to give a shout out this week to Armin, who is our Bangladeshi member of Team Elevated Planet, who is a super valuable member of our team. He is over in India at the moment supporting the Kaleidoscope Child Foundation. And I found this really interesting actually, because Armin doesn't talk about these things typically, but he sent over a link and I had a look at the website and it's fantastic. What he's over there supporting, along with a lot of other people from around the world. But the mission statement was interesting to me. They say our mission is to advance disenfranchised children and their communities in rural areas around the globe by providing sustainable, culturally competent programs. Our holistic initiatives aim to increase access to education, clean water, and hygiene assistance. So that is something which is so powerful because there's a lot of those disenfranchised areas around the world, and there's a lot of children who suffer. And if this is supporting the communities and the children, it's a fantastic, thing that Armin is doing. So well done, Armin. Proud of you. Proud to have you with us at Elevated Planet. And if anybody's interested in looking more at that Kaleidoscope Child Foundation, again, in the details below, there is the website link there as well. So, getting to today's program, really, we got this initial focus is on the Lionsgate. Now, I know this is the 9th of August, not the 8th of August, but this Lionsgate portal will remain open till at least the 12th of August, because the 12th of August is a pretty special day, because that is when the gateway culminates in a truly rare convergence, a total solar eclipse, for one thing, a dark new moon, a six-planet alignment, and the peak of the Perseid meteor shower, all that in a single day. That's a lot of energy there. That's the final activation, the eclipse rebirth, all that kind of thing. And that is the energy that's out there now for us to access. And that is what we're going to cover off in this first section. And the other thing as well that made it interesting is that this is not just 8-8. This is 8-8-8. Because numerologically, that date, specifically yesterday, was another 8. Okay? Because if you add up 8 plus 8 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6. So the full numerological date, it gives you the number of 26. 2 plus 6 equals 8. So numerologically, it's another 8. So I just think, these amplification vortexes that we get with this is really a time, connecting through the sacred heart to this time. I think this is something that the higher realms, the veil is thin. It's a time to get into this, which is why it's a great way to start with a piece here about the Lionsgate, which comes from our good friends at Twisted Reality. Stephen, who is, Stephen is German. He lives part of his life in Germany, but also quite a lot of time in India because his wife is Indian. And they put together some fantastic videos, and much of it's actually in the Eastern philosophies. And in fact, he did spend some time with Sadhguru as well, who will be on this video as well. So I have a lot of respect for Stephen and the work that he does. In fact, we share a WhatsApp group between Elevated Planet and Twisted Reality. I recommend anybody who enjoys this work subscribe to Twisted Reality, which I noticed actually is a point of interest. That's 111,000 subscribers right now. And maybe if we can make it up to 111,111, that would be even better. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to dive into that and check out a little bit more wisdom on Lionsgate. But before we do that, Jolé, can I bring you back in for your thoughts before we do that?
Absolutely. This Lionsgate portal is one where it's almost a new beginning, a do-over, stepping into some new energy, being able to let go of the past. And we're going to talk about this later, but the transformation of the karma. And as we go along, John, our shows are going to touch on that. We'll delve deeper as we go, but it's a beautiful thing to be able to identify and transform those blocks or what we perceive to be blocks, but they're lessons. And maybe that is what karma really is at the end of the day, is a lesson. But as we move forward with the show, we will talk more about that. And also, hats off to Amin, hats off to Rudra or Stefan.
Stephen, yeah.
Sorry, Stephen, our German, friend, and Twisted Reality, which really, he reached out his hand to us. And boy, did we reach back with both of them. He's truly been an amazing support for us at Elevated Planet. So all love all around, and to you viewers as well.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Well said. And yes, the karmic connection here for this first piece is really what ties it all together with what follows. So well said. Thank you. Okay, we're going to dive in, right? If you bear with me a second, we are going to switch screens and off we go.
Visually, the number 8 is a powerful symbol. It's a continuity. It's seen as an infinity sign. If you just turn number 8 this way, it becomes the sign of infinity. Number 8 is recognized as the number for Kala Bhairava.
On August 8th, represented as 8-8, we reach the exact peak of the Lionsgate. We are entering a precise alignment between the Earth, our physical sun, the star Sirius, and Orion's belt. In ancient mysticism, Sirius serves as a doorway to a higher spiritual dimension. Right now, Sirius is reborn in the night sky as it emerges from the light of our sun. During this specific window, the three brightest stars of Orion's belt line up directly over the pyramids of Giza. The pyramids were built to amplify our ability to receive energy from the higher realm and ground it into this world. They function like an inverted tetrahedron, receiving divine energy through a high base open to the astral plane and channeling that energy down into the earth. The number 8 holds deep significance across yogic traditions and is closely associated with Kala Bhairava. In the city of Kashi, there are 8 primary forms of Bhairava, positioned to form a protective, sacred perimeter. In the Vedic astrological process, the number 8 is connected to the planet Saturn, which governs karma, time endurance, limitation, and the maturation of life. The shape of the 8 itself suggests cycles that never end, representing karmic cycles and the evolving journey of life. The Lionsgate on August 8th mirrors this cycle of cosmic dissolution and maturation. The energy of this alignment helps us dissolve false, limiting stories we have told ourselves in the past. It puts pressure on the old, guiding us to face and purge out anything that restricts our awareness. When the 8 forms of Bhairava manifest, they multiply by 8 into 64 Bhairavas.
Alongside them are 64 yoginis, their feminine counterparts, who represent complementary aspects of energy, consciousness, and nature. Together, these 64 Bhairavas and 64 yoginis form a kind of tantric map of reality, capturing both cosmic forces shaping the universe and the subtle energies operating within human consciousness and human mechanism as a physical self. The number 64 repeatedly appears across very different domains of life, science and mathematics.
This pattern of 64 appears everywhere in the fundamental structures of existence. All known life on Earth is built using a genetic code composed of exactly 64 codons. Even at the beginning of human life, an embryo divides rapidly until it hits the 64-cell stage, which is the exact crucial milestone where cells first begin to differentiate to create a fresh life. During the Lionsgate, our bodies receive light codes that cause change at each level of our being: body, mind, and spirit. These upgrades trigger physical body changes that help our nervous systems purge out old, fear-based information and heal past trauma. Due to this massive influx of energy, the veil between the physical realm and the higher astral realm grows thinner. You may experience instances of déjà vu, intense and vivid dreams, or a flood of new ideas regarding your future path. To support your physical body through these shifts, spend time grounding outdoors in nature. Bodies of water in particular are powerful places where this energy is highly concentrated and available for healing. As we cross through August 8th, sit down, open your heart in receptivity, and allow this energy to activate the untapped potential of your mind. Experience this alignment directly. Let me know in the comments. What limiting story are you leaving behind on August 8th? Happy Lionsgate portal to everyone.
Great work, Stephen. That's really a fantastic video, and I kind of learned a lot there myself when I first started watching that. So, due to the Lionsgate energies, we can dissolve false limiting stories we have told ourselves, purging out anything that restricts our awareness. And I love that alongside the 64 bar, how do I pronounce it? They're not baristas. Barivias, sorry for murdering that. That was kind of like not the right phrase at all. And the 64 yoginis. So the blend of divine masculine with divine feminine is so important. If you want to achieve anything, you can't do it just with one side of the coin alone, right? It has to be balanced, and that is perfectly done. And that is something that, that necessary balance and harmony is something obviously that we've covered off with Mary Magdalene's work as well over these last couple of weeks or so, balance and harmony, and it's really very important in moving forward. The importance of grounding, bodies of water where highly concentrated are available for healing. So again, I make and I'll really refer that into Jolé actually. So Jolé, do you want to come back and talk to us a little bit about grounding? Do you ever use the bodies of water kind of thing, or do you have any experience
Yes.
around that?
You know, it's very easy. You just walk in the water, just for me. But also, I've also grounded where I am not in the water and I sit on the sand and I just allow for the sun and the water in combination to wash away any residual energy, trauma, specifically. Like in our moon alchemy, you and I, John, we talked about having one clear intention through the cycle, right?
Yes, yes.
And also with grounding, and we want to bring in karma here as well, it's a great way to release because that's really what karma is all about is recognizing the patterns you are creating in your life. We have to take radical responsibility for how life is showing up for us, how we're showing up for life. So, partially getting grounded and being real with yourself, because when we go out into Mother Earth, nature is real as ever. You see the
Mm,
whole cycle of life. Animals are mating in broad daylight. I mean, there's no filters in nature. So
no.
when you get into Mother Earth, she takes you in her arms and she says, get real. And then the sun comes in and it says, but there's a new day. There's a new beginning. There's something about the newness of each day that then locks in the groundedness because you know that you can release and you can reform, repair, remember, and get back to it. And then you can create new patterns. So, grounding is the foundation to be able to do that. So, it is such a huge part of resolving karma, but it is also very powerful in just healing you in general. We
Mm,
don't get enough of it. I know I do. I say, get out of nature, get out of nature. And I also have to get more of that in because there's not artificial light can't give your pineal what the sun can. It can't help you remember like the sun can help you remember. It can help you read though, knowledge and wisdom,
yeah.
but that's another thing to do is to read out in the sun and allow for your brain to absorb that information with the frequency and the vibration of the Schumann's resonance and the rhythms around you.
Mm,
It's truly
yeah.
powerful once we let go of the well-worn path,
Yeah.
of
Yeah, I get that entirely. I think this idea of allowing and releasing through that grounding process makes total sense. Because the problem is the way that we're programmed and conditioned is effectively to release. So if we have pains and stuff like that going on, you're going to reach for, the Tylenol or whatever it's going to be that's a pain relief, or you're going to go to the doctor and you're going to get medication, pharmaceuticals. And it's a difficult one, but I know we're going to cover this off at a future time. But it's kind of like it's something to bear in mind when you listen to this next section as well, I would say to the community, because this is all about that the karma in a time of transition, which is what we're in at the moment. We're switching up from the third dimensional densities and the duality and the polarity into a much lighter frequency. And the rules are going to be very different. And this is really talking to through that. So yeah. And what do you think, Jolene?
yes, let's
Should
get
we
into
dive
it.
in? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Well, we're going to do that then. So it's all about, as I say, karma in a time of transition. We have Alariel to lead the way here. Now, for those who have not been with us in previous months and weeks, Alariel is one of the angels who supports the Melchizedek teachers wherever they happen to be in the universe, right? But they've certainly been spending time here on Earth. And there are 12 angels assigned to the Melchizedek teachers. He is one of them. And also the other thing that these 12 angels are doing now is also supporting the likes of the crystal children, the rainbow children, the indigo children, who are here to help raise consciousness on the planet as well. So that is part of the assignment. The wisdom that Alariel provides us with is really deep. And so he's looking at it from the outside coming in, from an angelic perspective. And I think that really does add a perspective which is very, very important. So I think, oh yeah, and just to mention as well, Stuart Wilson from this book, Stuart Wilson and Joanna Prentice, is basically, he's the one who has channeled Alariel for this particular book, which is the Magdalene version. It comes highly recommended, as I've mentioned before, along with The Power of the Magdalene and Essene's Children of the Light. So it's a fantastic story even behind how he got to do this. But for now, we are going to just listen to the wisdom of Alariel, and then we will be back again. So bear with me a second, we will switch screens.
Karma in a time of transition. As we move into the planetary transition, there is a lot of confusion about what will happen to our karma. How will we be able to clear all our karma, and what will happen to unresolved karma? We asked Alariel to comment on that issue, and this was his response.
Alariel, you are in process of passing through your planetary transition when the Earth will move upwards into a new frequency. And there is a parallel development within your experience as human beings. You are leaving behind the heavy third-dimensional or 3D experience and entering the much lighter world of the fifth dimension or 5D. Much has been written about the karma which you have accumulated during all your previous lives on this planet. So the question arises, what will happen to all this karma? The answer is twofold. The resolving of karmic energies depends mainly upon the existence of linear 3D time. When a planet enters transition and moves into the next dimensional reality, 3D time vanishes. However, preparations for this are made well before you reach this point. During the run-up to period preceding the transition period, human beings have steadily become more sensitive and more introspective, and many new therapies have emerged to help you deal with unresolved past life energies. Whereas previous generations were just focused on living during that life, for this generation, your past lives and all the energies they bring with them are beginning to loom large. This process is helped along by the proliferation of the physical ailments. When some past life energy emerges as an illness, human beings become very focused on dealing with the problem. Now you could argue that it would have been wiser to resolve past life problems as you progressed through the whole sequence of lives. But it is a sad fact that most human beings have not lived like that. They have simply got on with expressing themselves in an ego-dominated way and have hardly given a second thought to any previous life they may have had. Well, all that is changing now. Your past lives and the energies they bring are no longer whispering at you. They are beginning to shout. And this shouting process is encouraging you to deal with these energies in a much more conscious and effective way than before. Yet, however effective you are, there is usually quite a lot of karma to deal with. And it is quite likely that at transition, some of this karmic energy remains unresolved. This is where the second aspect comes into focus. At the point of transition, providing you are going through a process of awakening and rising in vibration, your remaining karma is waived through the operation of divine grace. If you think about it, you will see that this must be done if there is to be any kind of justice. The linear time you need to resolve karma is disappearing. So soon, no one will have the time to work off these energies in the traditional way through experiences in lives led at the 3D level. There just isn't going to be extended linear time for ego-dominated 3-dimensional lives. Lives that certainly accumulated a lot of karma, but were also an effective platform for paying off that karma too. In the quite exceptional situation that arises when a planet goes through transition, other arrangements must be made to ensure that those who are capable of going into the experience of a higher level of being are able to do so. It would simply be unfair to hold back those souls who are capable of change and transformation just because they had some unresolved karma, which is why the intervention of grace is essential at this time. Of course, this is an exceptional situation. A planet only goes through transition once, and you have the good fortune to be living at this momentous time. There is also another consideration here. It has always been possible to deal with karma in two ways: pay it back by working it off in the traditional way, or transmute it. The key to transmuting karma is to probe the original energy, understand the cause, learn the lesson, release the energy, and move on. This process of transmuting karma can be done at any point, whether you are working within linear time or not. And another question arises here, too. Won't you be acquiring more karma as you live your new lives beyond the point of transition? Yes, but only for a little while. It will take human beings some time to move from creating their reality at the personality level, with the ego dominating their lives, to the next level of reality creation, which is focused on the soul. When the soul creates a reality, it does so with the highest good of all beings in mind. This is karma-less creation, and that is what you are now moving towards. Yes, it will take a little time to get used to this, but after transition, this new process, which is called co-creation, will become more and more the model for human experience. The whole point of moving beyond karma is to move to living in much lighter, easier, and more joyful ways, and that will form the basis of the exploration of life beyond the transition. So don't think of the transition as an ending of all things. Yes, it ends a planetary cycle, but life continues, and this is only the beginning of living in a much more expanded and enlightened way. Life beyond the transition will give you the chance to cast off your littleness and reconnect fully with the great beings of light you really are. So go forward into these times of change with courage. After all, you have nothing to lose but your limitations.
So once again, deep gratitude to Stuart Wilson and Joanna Prentice for their work at the Magdalene version. This is so enlightening. I love this because when you think about the fact that this is the path that we've been on for so many lifetimes. I don't know what the typical number of lifetimes we've had on the planet. Maybe I've certainly heard people who've had, I think it was Neil Donald Walsh. He was told he'd been there here on the planet 600 odd times. And maybe that's a pretty much not the same kind of number for most of us. But we never understood the rules of the game, right? During this particular time, anyway, where we've had the veil of forgetfulness, we didn't know the rules to try and kind of change things around and make sure that we pay our karma early. So now we are going to get this like a lot more karma, and many people may be feeling, the ailments, the physical ailments and the likes that have manifested themselves. And this is why new therapies to resolve these past life energies have come forward. And I know some amazing healing that can be done. I mean, Jolé herself is fantastic. And if anybody does want any healing through Jolé, just drop me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, because the reason I'm working with her was when I approached her back in early 2020, I realized that having gone through that one session that we needed to work together. So she didn't get the restraining order out, and we're still working together all these years later. But yeah, so, these are the healers that are out there. We've got other healers that we access as well who have got extraordinary new galactic healing that has come through as well. I mean, I talk about like Aveen Murray over in Northern Ireland. She does some amazing healing, and that is quantum light pod healing, which involves her guides, her extraterrestrial guides that work with. It's bizarre, right? I mean, it's not mainstream, but this is here for very specific purposes at a very specific time, a planetary transition. So, I just think that these things are so important because we cannot take the baggage with us of past karma into into the lighter, higher dimension that we're heading to. So, again, these these old energies are no longer whispering, they're now shouting. So now we have a lot to deal with. But the important thing here, and I love this, is the fact that if we are going through a process of awakening and rising in vibration, wherever we are on that journey, you could be quite advanced and going yet more highly advanced, or you actually might just be beginning the journey, but you are beginning to raise your vibration. So for those who don't get this at this point, this is not over yet, right? This is going to be going on undoubtedly for years yet, where we're going through this transition. And for those people who are on a raising vibration path, then you're not going to get left behind. You're going to have the opportunity to get into this into the higher dimensions. So the ego dominated 3D lives and linear time will be history for those who make it up to the fifth dimension. So linear time, obviously you can't bring karma into linear time, so that's why it has to be shed. But the implications are that if your level of consciousness is stuck at that 3D level, that you cannot, when it comes to this timeline split, which is often talked about, then that means that you have to stay at the level which is appropriate for your particular vibration. And again, there's no judgment with that. That is just your own soul's journey. And we have to honor the fact that some people are here to hold space, right? For people to move up, there has to be a balance. So some people have agreed to come in to hold more of a darker energy to allow for more light elsewhere. So again, we don't judge against those souls because we're all one, right? When it comes down to it, we are all one. And yeah, we were talking about that earlier because it's like saying that, Alariel and I are one. I am like, I am Alariel, Alariel is me. I am Yeshua, Yeshua is me. I am Hitler, and Hitler is me. Because you can't just look at the light. You've got to look at every aspect and say that if we're all part of the one divine consciousness, then everything is included within that, however you want to define it. So that I found this really interesting as well. Reality creation is going to change in the fifth dimension. It's shifting from individual personal creation, which is what we have at the moment. Even when we're unconscious creators, we are constantly creating our reality, both on a group level and on an individual level. But there is a lot of latency with our creation. And what that means is it takes a long time to happen. You have to stay in a vibration for a long time to be able to draw it in because of the density of the third dimension. And that in itself is a blessing in many ways, because when you're having dark thoughts and fearing things, it doesn't mean that what you fear is instantly coming your way. You have a chance to stop and think about it and then move to a higher vibrational thinking thought. And you're starting to move back in that direction. But that's a conscious mechanism, right? To know that to be true. So the fact is that we're moving to this time of karma-less creation, this idea of co-creation. And I found this really, what it struck me with this is that if we look at, for instance, we do the Pam Gregory guided meditation on Thursday as a group. And it's a great thing to do because Pam is pulling us all together around the world, not just through Elevated Planet, but anybody who wants to join this wherever they are in the world. Then everybody is feeding their own energy into that quantum wave structure of kindness, of compassion, of peace, of harmony, of joy. And therefore, the more of us that do that around the world at that time, feeding that quantum wave structure, we are elevating consciousness as we do that. Now, that is an act of co-creation. That's not personal creation. That is conscious creation on a group basis. The same thing is true when we do the meditations at the end of the shows, because what Jolé is doing is creating like a meditation that we do as a group. So it's a co-creation. So when we're talking about tapping into our world of unspeakable beauty, and we're all there in our own minds at that point, we're elevating our consciousness. We're elevating the consciousness of the all. So I think that's really an important thing, and I found that quite an exciting thing, really. But we have nothing to lose but our limitations. as Alariel put it. But I want to come back to the transmutation of karma and bring Jolé back in for your thoughts on that, because, you know, that is one of your specialist subjects, really.
Yes. Like I told you earlier, the one blind spot I had though is seeing karma manifest physically in the body, right? I mean, I understood it logically, but it really hit me that cleaning up past lives through regression or even your own meditation is so important in terms of resolving and dissolving karma. Now, first and foremost, we have to recognize, as I said before, the pattern that we are that keeps showing up in our lives. And then we have to go, I choose something greater. We don't want to give any energy to the negative. We want to recognize and then we want to choose something better and then release what no longer serves. So you have to be aware, right? And
Yeah.
your awareness means when I get into this moment, I'm going to choose a new behavior. Once that behavior is chosen, then we double down by setting boundaries and being consistent around that. Because when we're looking at this, even though it's spiritual emotional, we have to be practical in how we approach karma. We have to be intentional around resolving and dissolving it. And I'm at the front of the line because I suffer from issues, obvious and not obvious, and that is, some would say, my karma. So for me, I have to recognize these patterns, even physical ones. Is there a pattern in your family of back problems? Maybe that means double down on creating stability in your life on every level. Do you have issues with your skin? Cultivate belonging, loving, being kind. And I don't mean, like, I want to say the word ingratiating yourself in ways in social situations and really being resilient around your self-esteem. So recognize these patterns instead of just automatically being triggered by them. And that's the beauty of this portal. We can move into that co-creation with intention and also with joy because now we know we're remembering who we are. Now,
Mhm.
another part of the karma I'd like to lay on the table, and it may be controversial for some, is working with your ancestors. During this time, I've been working a lot with my ancestors, my guides, my masters, of course, angels, always, but really being intentional again about connecting and communicating on a regular basis, and then listening for that guidance. And the self doubt will resolve itself. Why? Because when you set a new pattern, you begin to lean in with consistency to something new. Now, I want to challenge everybody because we have been programmed: lean into the stress, lean into what's not working, lean into the problem, right? Let's pivot that Titanic this time and get the Illuminati off the boat. But let's pivot to positive. I got this. I can do this. This is a pattern that I choose now. I might in the past have created a situation where all my partnerships were one where I'm the one financially responsible or whatever. Now we shift that pattern and we say, you know what? I am financially responsible for myself. I take good care of me. I am stable in how I financially unpack my, whatever. So it's
Mhm.
like really understanding who you are, the power that you have. And then once you're creating that bubble for your life, guess what frequency and vibration is being put out? Because the vibration of a partnership where you're constantly paying is one of low self-esteem, low self-worth, low vibration and frequency, right? Recognizing that and saying, hey, let me work here. So karma is in that way of a lesson. That's all that it is. It isn't a punishment. It doesn't mean you have to sit and struggle. It's about recognizing, releasing, repairing, and replacing, right? In that kind of order. So just take it from a practical kind of scientific perspective, and then also understand the concept of what you're doing. And we move into our moon alchemy because that's really what this is all about. At the base level, It's about resolving and dissolving those patterns, and those patterns are karma. And so we're using the patterns of the moon, we're using the patterns of the day of the week and the month in order to align with our highest and most loving good. And it does work. Now, the rub is a consistency,
Mm.
getting into the rhythm of the moon phases, because there's so many distractions every day, so many things we have to do. I mean, you're washing the dishes and the phone rings. You know what I mean? You have a choice. Do I stay focused or do I answer the phone? Like, I mean, I know I kind of went on a sidebar, but you kind of have to organize yourself that way because of all of the distractions. Get into your, and so the moon alchemy helps us get into our own rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And you've done some great work on the journal, I know, this week as well. And I'm excited about when that comes out because it'll be supporting the Moon Alchemy program, which is all about create your own new reality. And it's just really all about taking ownership rather than
Yes.
being the unconscious creators that we've been, programmed to be, right? And that's, again, no complaints there, because that's what we signed up for. That's what we
Right.
came here for. We came for a journey with the veil of forgetfulness drawn down so that we didn't understand we were creating our reality, and then we get fed programs and things that do not work in our favor. And it's understanding, and this is one of the things that I'm curious about, is when it comes to understanding what is karma and what is just general everyday life, is I suppose it is identifying those repeat patterns, isn't it? I
Yeah,
suppose that's it.
the ones that are coming through the generations, showing up as sickness, mental illness, lack of, patterns that are consistently showing. And then in your own life, how that layers itself. Like, for instance, I talked about someone attracting partners that drain them.
Mm,
Why are you a host for spiritual vampires? What are you doing? How do you feel about yourself that your boundaries are as such that vampires are able to breach that and get to you? Now
mm,
that's a pattern, right? And then you look and you say, well, was my mom like that? My dad wasn't like that. Who was, okay, so we want to break all curses, spells, contracts, agreements, other obligations, hooks, cords, vows with that energy. And then we move forward in identifying our boundaries and what it is we need to work on. Where is my blind spot around my self-esteem? When somebody says something passive aggressive to me, do I clap back and honor that? Or do I take that on now and get triggered and shut down? Right. So people think this is over analyzing. And for those of you that's like, oh my God, that's too much. I'm confused. I'm foggy. Go outside and sit on the ground and see a grounding cord. Turn all, whatever it is, I turn all of this negative energy in my body and this depression red. Flush it out, fill up with a gold sun. But for those of you that are more analytical, you may need to unpack it as such.
mm. Yeah, yeah. No, it's fascinating. And I do think that a lot of people who are here as healers at this time have actually had to face off against some of the biggest challenges. And I think the reason for that, as I get it, is that if you haven't experienced it, it's difficult to heal it in others. So I think that the likes of you, for instance, right? The likes of Avine, who I mentioned earlier, is another healer. And there's been a lot of attacks, if you like, in different ways that have come because you're healing, you're helping other people to heal. If you've never experienced it yourself, then you're not, you know, you don't have the advantage, if you like, of actually having gone through it yourself to enable to heal others. Do you think that's true?
Mhm. Um, I don't believe that that's true anymore. I think we are resolving and dissolving, needing to experience because the oneness, right,
Mm,
takes
mm,
care of that. And someone else experiences it and we take in the lesson, therefore we don't have to experience that. However,
yeah,
we have our own, our chakras unpack themselves throughout our lives, meaning these are challenges and opportunities for us to grow. So we all have our own unique. So I don't believe we need to suffer and struggle in order to understand that and heal that in others. But I do believe that our heart based empathy, compassion, and connection to that oneness is what does it. Right.
yeah,
So it comes from a place of like you dissolve who you are you reach into that ether and that oneness, and you bring back something that can help another part
Mm,
of that energy to
mm,
heal. So it's almost like you're these, you know, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like an angelic energy of just allowing for yourself to open up and channel the quantum unconditional loving energy towards that darkness that may be within. And
mm.
that's all it is. And that's a visualization. Now, theta brainwaves, we know the unconscious mind and the subconscious really is an important part. So delving into that and being connected in that way is also a powerful means of healing people. If you NLP, you know, using language, because we've used language to program ourselves and get stuck, so we can also use language to unlock. So these are all modalities that help you heal without having to struggle.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Very good. That's very insightful. I appreciate that. And I'm thinking that we move towards truth and transition, our third section.
Yes.
So basically, again, this is talking about us moving away from the density of the third dimensional illusion that we're confronted with and into the reality of the fifth dimension. And again, fascinating work. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you back over to Alariel for this next section. Bear with me a second.
Truth and transition.
Alariel, moving through your personal transition will focus you as never before on the essential truth. The half-truths and fudges that may have satisfied you in the past will now seem like sharp betrayals, and the search for the truth and the real will intensify in your life. The truth is actually very simple. There is only one of us out there. All the multitude of forms are like so many clothes that you may try on from the great wardrobe of the universe, but to confuse any clothing, however splendid, with the inner essence of the one spirit seems rather foolish. Yet such is the power of illusion that human beings confuse the outer form with the inner essence all the time. This is what transition really means, the journey out of illusion and into reality, out of drama and into peace, out of story and into the all. Of course, you can stay in illusion if you wish, but that means that you will continue to be a spiritual child. Human beings have lived for many centuries as spiritual children, and they have dreamed and slumbered through huge expanses of limiting and disempowering time. But now Earth is sending humanity a wake-up call. It's time to let go of the illusion and see things as they really are. Then you will begin to function as a spiritual adult and be able to take your power back. For, in truth, your power was never stolen from you. Instead, you gave it away. Giving away your power was part of the package of being a spiritual child. The responsibility of making decisions for yourself seemed too heavy a burden, so you let a family, a church, a regiment, a company, a trade union, or a state do that for you. But now it is time for the veil of forgetfulness to start dissolving, so that you can see who you really are, a spiritual adult who is also a meta-gifted and multidimensional being of light. When you can glimpse that, even for a short while, you can begin to stand tall in the light of your own consciousness, and compared to that, continuing to be a spiritual child doesn't seem such a good choice anymore, and so you're ready to let it go and move on. What you are moving on into is nothing less than ascended truth, unbroken consciousness, and eternal joy. All these are the rewards of an awakening humanity. All these are your birthright and your destiny, and the way to these goals is within you, as it has always been. You have never been more than a heartbeat away from joy and light and all the love in the universe. You have searched the whole world to find the light, and now you discover it was there all the time, deep inside of you like a seed waiting for the right time to burst into flower. This is the time. This is the place. This is the moment to wake up and realize that the light outside you and the light inside you are one. This is the time to focus on the truth that can set you free. The truth about your own real nature as a child of the light, and the truth about the universe, about the reality in which you live and move. And when you realize that your own inner self and the universe are not two things, but one thing, everything in your life will change. This is your moment of transition, your time of destiny. Take courage and let the spirit within guide you through the process of transformation that will lift you in vibration and change your life forever.
I think the fact that the search for the truth and the real has intensified over the last few years for many of us, because it's why you're here. It's why I'm here. I mean, 8 years ago, or just over 8 years ago, I had no idea about any of this. I was living a very left brain existence in the world of finance and thought that this was it, right? This illusory world that we've been living in was the reality. But what you come to realize now, what an honor it is to be on this planet at this time, because we are on a planet which is about to transition. It only ever happens once, right? This is the one time where planet Earth will go through a transition, and we have the honor of being here for this journey. So I just think that's fantastic. So we are truth seekers. Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's not, again, we're all individuated expressions of the one divine consciousness. And we're individuated for a reason, because we're all pieces in a giant cosmic jigsaw puzzle, if you want to put it that way. So every piece has to be different from every other, because it's what creates the whole. So the more people who actually start this journey to understand the nature of reality, and to realize just how fortunate we are to be here at this time, because this is the time where we start to realize the rules of the game, and the game is changing. And that makes it interesting, because we're going out of the old 3D structure, the karmic kind of loop and all this kind of thing. We have the opportunity to move into that higher, lighter dimension, and to really experience all the fantastic stuff that we've got out there. We have been those spiritual children. We are now going to graduate to a higher dimension and become spiritual adults. And again, we don't beat ourselves up about being spiritual children. I think humanity is a very young species. And yes, we've been stuck in the male cycle, the egoic top-down influences has dominated for thousands of years, which is why the joy of coming into the age of Aquarius, where the divine feminine is going to lead the way with that beautiful collaborative heart-based energy. There is so much to look forward to. That's the reason why all these messages have come forward from Mary Magdalene in recent years, is because, it is time now. And I believe that, according to like Dolores Cannon's work, by 2050, Isis returns, so there. And by that time, we are in 1,000 years of peace. So I just think we have it all to look forward to, and understanding and accepting responsibility for everything in our lives is the power. Because I don't know whether you notice, but you think about the way that we've been conditioned and programmed. We've been encouraged into judgment and blame. Whose fault is it that I feel this way? Whose fault is it that this has happened? What do I need to feel divided about? And we've accepted that narrative because we just didn't realize. We just didn't realize that this was part of the challenge. This is part of the game. So we can now transcend that. We can get on our eagle's perch, as Pam Gregory tells us, and look at it from above with conscious detachment from that, while still reaching out in kindness, compassion, and love, and all the rest of it to help people along the journey. But at the same time, not getting drawn into that personalized drama, which you're being encouraged into. It's part of the game. It's part of realizing that that is where real power lies. It's not in resistance, but it's in redirection of the energy. As Alan Watts has told us on many times, we're not bound to the old loops of cause and effect. We're here to create new ones. And that is what takes us to a world of unspeakable beauty. So with that said, I want to bring Jolé back in for your thoughts.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful, John. I think you summed that up nicely. It is about redirection. And that's also how we create new patterns and positive karma that we can pass down. Like, it's truly, once we get into radical responsibility, it can be a whole new world because now we realize we're co-creating with the oneness, and where we focus is what we're going to get back. So that's why John and I, you can even tell the creator put us together, right, John?
Yeah,
If there
absolutely.
could be polar opposites, it would be both of us, right? But we've learned to work out that polarity by coming together and understanding the oneness and using that with which to build, right? And add value. So it is possible. And you work out that polarity within you.
Mm,
So it's all a beautiful thing to be here at this point in time and to be aware, you know, of your power, our power, and our ability to create our lives.
yes. Yeah, and I think this just, to me, I just get more and more excited about where this journey is going because you
Right.
realize that all the power is within. It's all that heart-based unity consciousness, Christ consciousness that we're all heading towards that. Well, those who choose that journey, because obviously there are those that will not make that journey, but that's fine
Mhm,
because we're all part of the one, right? It doesn't make any difference whether the journey takes longer or whether it's actually going to be accelerated is going to be, an individual frequency decision that comes
mhm,
out of this. And I think there's going to be a lot of people going to be waking up over the next couple of years. And I think that's the job that, Elevated Planet and many others are reaching out here to offer content to
mhm.
help people understand the nature of the journey. Because as we learn, other people learn as well.
Yes, very much so.
So I'm thinking, with all that said, do you think it's time to go into our co-creative guided
Yeah.
meditation?
Yeah, let's leave the spiritual childishness behind. I'm so ready. As I tell you all the time, I'm at the front of the line. For some reason, John, I think maybe you understand that some of us have to experience the struggle or believe that. And maybe that's a part of my karma I need to resolve. I don't need to feel your struggle in order to heal you. I don't
Mm,
need to
mm,
feel any struggle in order to be a healer
mm.
and a transformational person. So let's let go of that. This is the opportunity to step through this portal and to step into something that's expansive and new and have access to that oneness. So let's move into spiritual maturity in this meditation.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. And we're going to just have a little bit of Alariel to lead us into this that you will have heard earlier, because it's a really important piece to repeat to go into the meditation. And the visual that you'll have there is you can think of it as the light at the end of the tunnel, because that is where we're heading. So bear with me a second. For one final time, we are going to switch screens.
It's time to let go of the illusion and see things as they really are. Then you will begin to function as a spiritual adult and be able to take your power back. For, in truth, your power was never stolen from you. Instead, you gave it away. Giving away your power was part of the package of being a spiritual child. The responsibility of making decisions for yourself seemed too heavy a burden. So you let a family, a church, a regiment, a company, a trade union, or a state do that for you. But now it is time for the veil of forgetfulness to start dissolving, so that you can see who you really are, a spiritual adult who is also a meta-gifted and multidimensional being of light. When you can glimpse that, even for a short while, you can begin to stand tall in the light of your own consciousness, and compared to that, continuing to be a spiritual child doesn't seem such a good choice anymore, and so you're ready to let it go and move on. What you are moving on into is nothing less than ascended truth, unbroken consciousness, and eternal joy. All these are the rewards of an awakening humanity. All these are your birthright and your destiny, and the way to these goals is within you, as it has always been. You have never been more than a heartbeat away from joy and light and all the love in the universe.
Feet flat on the floor, palms face up on your thighs. Take a deep breath in at your own pace and exhale the rhythm of your body as you bring your awareness to the center of your chest. Breathe with the rhythm of your body. Check in from a loving space with you. You deserve to be here. You are worthy and deserving to live a life filled with unconditional love and unspeakable beauty. And the way to do that is for us to call our energy back from the spiritual immaturity that's been programmed and conditioned into us, and also through our decisions and choices we've made. So we're releasing inauthenticity, lack of vulnerability, lack of integrity, resilience, consistency, and any lack, because we're stepping into the positives of this by taking radical responsibility by how we show up. So we ground with this new energy. Our grounding cord is one of power, co-creation, and radical responsibility as we ground with this new energy into Mother Earth, as our feet remain flat on the ground. They open and they're pulling in earth energy as those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanket the inside and the outside of our grounding cord. So this positive pattern of our soul architecture begins to power up as our aura pulls itself in to be 1.5 feet around us. Our astral body snaps itself in to our physical body, and our higher self stands at the power position, a comfortable distance above our crown, as that 15% earth energy of a color, clear, soothing, warm liquid pools in our feet, travels up the side channels of our legs, as that beautiful, golden, creative, and cosmic life force energy, 85% of it comes cascading down. It has all these sparkles and hearts, and just so much love is coming in from the universe. The universe is like, thank you, I've always been here for you. Come to me, as it just pours into the crown, bringing in so much transformative energy. That portal is open, and it's saying, I'm here to help you expand. Let this warm energy move throughout your upper body, resolving and dissolving any karma that may have been calcifying your pineal gland, moving out any hormonal objections to the way in which you are living in unconditional love as it moves down into the heart, repairing any heartbreak. This unconditional love is saying to you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, as it drops into the gut and it meets with Mother Earth and that nurturing energy, and just filling up every cell of your body with this creative life force energy, moving into your cartilage and your bones and your muscles, and into all the little details of your physical, emotional, and mental life. Moving out, turning red all of the victim programming as we put a golden sun above our head, and we fill it up with spiritual maturity. Because any lack and limitation and deprivation and inconsistency is immaturity. So this golden sun is calling back ancient energy of ours that was divine integrity, divine authenticity, divine execution, divine consistency, persistence, and it's being filled up with everything that is representative of unconditional love for self and others, unconditional forgiveness for self and others, divine integrity. And any time that you are taking radical responsibility, you're exercising radical self-love. So as you breathe with the rhythm of your body, you allow for this earth and cosmic creative golden life force energy. The earth energy is of a color that resonates with you to move through your body, sprouting out of your feet, hands, and crown chakra, filling up your aura layer, letting go of those triggers and those pictures and those experiences that are karmic and that represent immaturity, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. You know what to do. You pop those pictures out, those triggers, those patterns, those programs, remove themselves down your grounding cord, because that earth energy and that creative cosmic gold resolve and dissolve that. The frequency is too high for it to maintain itself, moves down that grounding cord, and that mother earth energy and that cosmic divine goes in that part of your body and your astral body, and it repairs it, replaces it with this new energy, as that golden sun above your head calls all your energy back. And so that radical responsibility, what does it look like? What kind of boundaries do you have when you practice radical self-love? Feel that. See that. See that spiritual immaturity relieve itself from you. And see yourself get closer to where you are embodying yourself at your zenith. There's no longer a latency between you and your highest self, your most loving self. When I say the higher self standing at a comfortable position above your crown, right now, it's in you. And all that's above the crown is this gold light, because you are your highest self. You represent the highest part of you today. The latency is being worked out. So you sit in the energy of your spiritual maturity. And what is that? A wish fulfilled. A life of divine authenticity. As you keep calling that energy back into that golden sun. We're not there yet. We got a lot of energy to call back, a lot of power. And you know, I want to bring in a divine no. And what I mean by that is, although the subconscious mind sees a no sometimes as a yes, this is a boundary, a divine no, meaning I no longer sign up, or I fail to sign up for things that no longer serve or don't serve me. I let go of that. And that is at your heels. There's nothing there. You are standing on new ground. Step forward into what you want. Sit in that wish fulfilled of your spiritual maturity. What conversations are you having? What bed are you sleeping in? What clothes are you wearing? What job do you have? What are you doing in your free time? What is the energy and vibration of your environment that you are creating and curating? Get into the details of this. What does your field of dreams look like? And if you build it, they will come. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? Sit there for a moment and know that this is yours. Breathe with the rhythm of your body and visualize as you sit in the energy of a wish fulfilled. You are them. You are him. You are her. The latency has been resolved and dissolved as far as who you are. You are there. Take action. Release what no longer serves you intentionally. We're releasing inauthenticity, exaggeration, untruths, dis-ease and illness. We're releasing people, places, things, and we're releasing them from the body and down our grounding cord. And we're giving energy back this way this time, as that golden sun continues to fill up with the ancient knowledge, the wisdom, and the power of the oneness that we've always been. You are a fully developed, spiritually mature, whole being of divinity and light. Light being the pleroma, or the origin of all goodness and unconditional love and unspeakable beauty. When you're ready, inhale at your own pace as you bring in that beautiful golden sun of spiritual maturity, divine authenticity, unconditional love, unspeakable beauty, and your field of dreams. As it comes down into your crown and it mixes in with that 85% cosmic creative golden life force energy, it becomes one with it and with Mother Earth energy, moving throughout every cell of your body as you embody this new beginning, this new you, one that's spiritually mature, emotionally regulated and intelligent. A co-creator, an action taker. But knowing at the end of the day that you're magnetizing in through your unconditionally loving way you show up. We show up with joy. We show up with positive intentions, positive words. We open our arms to give hugs. We use words of upliftment, of compassion, of forgiveness. And we say to ourselves, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And when we say this now, we say this with a smile. No more tears, because the trauma's been worked out. The pain and the karma has been transformed. Those vows, those contracts, agreements, or other obligations, those spells and curses resolved and dissolved on a history level, cancel, pull, delete, sent to Creator's light on a soul, core, and genetic level, and replaced with unconditional love for others and selves, unconditional forgiveness, and unspeakable beauty on all four levels within us. So take a deep breath in and exhale at your own pace. And visualize your feet, your hands, and your crown chakras closing like the lens of a camera. And see all of this divine energy settle within you and your whole environment. And it's just moving out into the people that you love, into your neighborhood, into your town, into your city, into your state, into your country, into your continent. And this love moves out to the universe at large. And guess what it does? It reflects back to you. As you then open your eyes with a smile.
Yes, truly smiling at that one, Jolé.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah,
And
it's really time to feel good all the time.
yeah. And this is what we keep coming back to. It's the playfulness, it's the joy,
Yeah.
it's those uplifting frequencies. And it's something that the more we focus our energies around there, the easier it is to get through everything, you know? There's always going to be times when it's less easy to do, but nevertheless, the more we get into this kind of practice, the more elevated the frequency, the easier it is.
And just keep your eye on the prize, and always know that we need support. So build those bridges and allow others to build them with you. Because I guess one of our major blocks, and we talked about this last week, John, we had such a good show around judgment and criticism. We got to drop that,
Mm.
it's to the best of our ability each moment. And the moment that that mind parasite comes in and wants you to judge or bag on someone,
Yeah. Yeah.
choose the higher path and say, you know what, they have on a really cool pair of shoes. I like that. Or instead of going, oh my God, what happened to her hair?
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. Let's try to move into something more joyful and uplifting and
I
laugh
think
with
it,
each other.
yeah, I think it's going to get easier and easier because more and
Yes.
more people are getting this message now, and we learn to step into that because why wouldn't you? You know,
Yeah.
if you wanted to live your life in or compare a life between judgment, blame, disempowerment relative to being empowered, to live in joy, to live in love, and to give people the space to live their life while you live your best life, which makes you the
Correct.
beacon to help other people along the way.
Exactly. And that is the focus, truly is on your own life. Like,
Yes, and a big thanks to the community today for the comments and everything. I see we've got Sean the Shaman from Cottage of the Priest, which I always recommend that as for people to check out because she's a very talented lady in terms.
yes. Hi, Sean. Thank you for tuning in.
And also from Sergey Eugene, I'm not sure how to pronounce that necessarily, but from Agape. And a lot of Agape love has been heading our way. Yeah, and that's your world as well, right, Jolé?
Yes, I love agape, especially the meditation at 6 a.m. That's like my favorite. And Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith is incredible.
Mm, yes, and we've had a donation from the name this comes down is at Sit Down John John. Just with the message, thanks for getting this out there, and I really truly appreciate the donation to
Oh
elevate the
my
planet.
gosh, thank you so much. Yes, we truly, truly do. We're grateful. And we just are honored to be able to do this work. And we love the joy and the laughter that Sit Down John John. Thank you for that
Yes.
username. You get quite the laugh and the, you know, good vibration on that.
Yeah, we never know. It might have actually been christened that name, but that's I somehow doubt it. So anyway, so tomorrow we send out the Elevated Planet newsletter, which will have the edited version of this show. Also, as soon as I can get this edited, I will put it onto the channel because it's always good to be able to add extra imagery and to remove any like transition pieces between the videos and everything. So it comes nicely polished and everything. So watch out for that. Anybody who wants to join our distribution list, then send me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life. And the same thing's true for any comments that you might have. Or if, for instance, you were interested in Jolé's healing services, send me the email in the first place to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, because that's something that both Jolé and I handle all the input through that for Elevated
Yes.
Planet.
Yes, and I can truly help you work with your chakras. Look for some packages to come soon on me and what I do. But in the meantime, I'm here if you need me.
Yes, yes. And we get that Moon Alchemy rolled out. We got the journal on its way.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll get more of that. Again, if anybody has any curiosity on that, again, John Drew at elevatedplanet.life, and we can fill you in on what the program of conscious co-creation of your own reality is really about, and building that practice. So I think with that said, I think we're about there, Jolé. Are we correct?
Yes. Yes. It's been a pleasure, truly.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. We'll be doing the Pam Gregory meditation again on Thursday evening. So please join us for that if you are able. And that's UK time, but again, anytime you can do it, just get on there to the show on the Elevated Planet channel, and you will see it there waiting for you. So anyway, that's it. We'll see you in a few days' time. Take care. Thank you
Thank
again.
you.
We love you all.
Bye-bye.